Uncle Mark Flanders kicks off the Dorrigo Folk and Bluegrass Festival sessions for an otherwise quiet room, with a smoking ceremony, a welcome to country, and a couple of creation stories. It's a good way to start.
It is about learning the knowledge, sharing the knowledge, and passing the knowledge on, as we have been doing for thousands of years. So we, the Gumbaynggirr people, up here in the area of the Gumbaynggirr clan group, we are land and sea people. We are saltwater, freshwater people. We are custodians of our lands and waters. We are caretakers of our lands and waters. We are traditional owners, elders, knowledge holders, teachers, and we are parents. We have many totems that we have as a way of looking after our beautiful environment, from the lands to the water to the sky. The totem for our land here is the carpet snake. We call that Gumbaynggirr in our language. The totem for the water here is the dolphin. We call that AOQR. The men's totem is a little microbat. And the woman's totem is a little tree creeper bird. And we have many totems that range from country, clan, tribal groups, family, and individual totems. It's a way of looking after our beautiful lands that we walk. But I want to take you on a walk across the lands of my people. I want to take you on a journey. Please use your imagination as we take that walking line, that walking path, that song line, the story line. We're going to take a journey all the way north of here. We're going to go up towards the Clarence River up near Grafton. We will stop, camp overnight. We'll make some canoes from the bark of the big trees. The next day we will jump in our canoes. We'll paddle across the other side of that mighty Clarence River. And we'll step out onto the soil of the Bunjalung Aboriginal people. And we'll say hello to the old people we have seen for a long time. But we'll jump back in our canoes now. We'll paddle down that mighty Clarence River all the way to the ocean to the mouth. We will step out of our canoes once more. We'll put our feet on the sands of the Yagal Aboriginal people. And we'll catch up with that old mob, see the old people we have not seen for a long time. But we'll leave there now. We'll leave our canoes on the banks. Have a good time here. Be safe. Respect the lands that your footsteps walk upon. Welcome everyone. Let's have a great folk festival. Thank you.
Uncle Mark Flanders, thank you so much for joining an otherwise quiet room at the Dorrigo Folk and Bluegrass.
Thank you for having me. What a beautiful event, eh?
It's pretty special.
It is.
Is this your first time at the festival?
No, it's the third time I've been here.
And you're pretty great. You're pretty tight with the director, Bridget Rees, aren't you?
Yeah, been working with Bridget there over the last 3 years, and it's been really good, not just Bridget directing this whole beautiful show, but meeting the different musos that come up here,
Yeah. That's. I guess this is it's a big meeting place, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So we saw you yesterday do the Welcome to Country, which was just so powerful, and it's incredibly important. And I forget about the ritual every time until it happens again. But it occurred to us that coming from Wurundjeri country near the Yarra and doing our last season in the city of Moreland in Melbourne, I really wanted to get you on, especially to tell us a bit about where we are in the country that we're on here, now that we've travelled so far.
Thank you. Well, you're in my country here, the Gumbaynggirr country.
Gumbaynggirr.
Range from beautiful Dorrigo, going all the way back down the coast towards Coffs Harbour, all the way up north to Grafton, and going all the way down south below near Maxwell, Scott's Head area. So it's a pretty big country, it is.
It's really good country. Before I push off the stage and let you tell us a story, could you tell us one thing you really love about the festival?
I think it's the variety of the music. You know, and music makes people happy, you know, and it creates a good ambient atmosphere, you know. I just went up into town, just get some breakfast then. There's music plays in every corner around the shops, you know, and there's always different sounds. It's like a big note of music, big bass tremolo notes just flowing through the town.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a heartbeat.
It is like a heartbeat, yeah.
All right, well, if you would tell us a story straight down the barrel to our listeners, that would be fantastic.
Long time ago in the dreaming, all the trees in the land, they were tall, tall, tall trees with no lower branches, and the bark was as hard as steel. And animals on the ground wanted to climb up these tall trees, but they could not. They wanted to get to the top of the tall trees because this beautiful, luscious fruit grew up there. And every now and then some of the fruit would fall to the ground. And the animals on the land would rush out to get this fruit and eat it. It was such a delicacy. Oh, they longed for this fruit that grew at the top of the tall, tall, tall trees. But they could not get up there. The only animals that could eat this fruit were the flying animals. They are the birds and the flying foxes. So the animals on the ground, they had a meeting with the birds one day and said to them, "How can we get to the top of the tall, tall, tall trees to eat the fruit that you eat up there?" The birds said, "Well, you cannot. You do not have wings to fly up there and eat the fruit." Oh, but the animals longed for the fruit. But the birds said, "All right then, we'll help you out. We know where these trees grow by the waterfalls. And these trees have these root systems that interlock and grow all the way down to the bottom of the waterfall and back up again. We'll get the seed off these trees for you animals and we'll plant them in the top of the tall, tall, tall trees." "Yes," said the animals. So the next day, all the birds in the land, the little birds, the big birds, the coloured birds, the non-coloured birds, they all flew out to every waterfall on the land and they gathered up the seeds. And they went around the lands, putting a seed in every tall, tall, tall tree. And over time, root systems started to grow off the tall trees, down to the ground, interlocking, and back up again. And the animals could now climb up the tall, tall, tall trees and eat all the fruit that grew up there. But after a while, all the fruit disappeared. Because the plants that they planted were the strangler figs, and they engulfed those tall, tall trees and strangled them. And in the end, they died and could no longer produce fruit. But in return, the plants that they planted, the fig trees, the strangler figs, they grow a fruit too, that the animals that fly through the air can eat. The animals on the ground can fly up there and climb up there and eat them. And every now and then some would fall to the ground. The animals on the ground that cannot climb would rush out and eat these fruits too. And that's where the strangler figs come from. Very beautiful trees. A long time ago in the dreaming, there was a big drought, no rain for a long time. And up the river lived the water duck tribe, and they were running out of water. So the elder of the water duck tribe travelled down the river one day to find a better place for his people to live. And he came across this great big dammed up area of water and started swimming around in it for hours. And then remembered his people, and the dam wall collapsed and washed the water duck elder all the way down the river. The water duck elder nearly drowned, but the person that saved that water duck elder was the water rat. Now, water rats were mean, bad-mannered animals. No one liked them, but the old water rat saved the water duck elder and took him back to his camp. The water duck elder was so grateful to being saved by the old water rat, he said, "What do you want for saving my life?" Well, the old water rat, he looked around, he said, "I'll have your daughter over there." He didn't want to give away his daughter, but he had to because the water rat had saved his life. So the old man water rat took the little water duck daughter back to his camp with him. But he wasn't very nice to her. When he was eating, she got the last scraps of food. And when he was drinking water, she got the last drops of water. Not at night time, here was nice and warm around the fire. And she had a camp over there, so she was always cold. And during the day, he'd lock the little water duck in this hole in the riverbank and push a big pebble over it so she couldn't escape. Well, her dad was worried about her. He travelled down the river every day looking for his little daughter, calling out for her, "Where are you? Where are you?" One day she heard her dad calling, and with all of her might, she pushed the pebble aside in the riverbank, went running back to her dad. He took her back to the water duck camp. But it's strange, though. After a while, she started to miss that old water rat. She travelled down the river every day, around the bend a bit further, looking for him. She came around the bend in the river one day, and the old water rat was up on the bank there, shivering with fever, cold and hunger. She felt sorry for him, so she took him back to his camp. She gave him food, she gave him water, she kept him warm. And after a while they fell in love, and they had children. Do you know who those children are? Yes, the platypus. That's why the platypus has the bill of the duck, the webbed feet like the duck, lays the eggs like the duck, has the claws of the water rat, the fur of the water rat, and digs holes in the riverbank like the water rat. And that's where the platypuses come from. But we don't know where that big flat tail came from. That's why platypuses are so special.
Because I'm saying